Master? Master!
I'm right here, K9. What's going on, buddy?
R2-D2 is required to reboot the system.
That is a bit of a problem. I don't think R2 will be willing to watch the system after that last game of chess you guys played. You know, the Doctor, when he was on Translore, had a Cyberman head that was actually one of his best friends, and it kind of watched the systems and monitored things for him while he was away. What if I built a Cyberman head for you? Would you want that?
Negative, Master. Too many risks.
I think he could monitor the system safely. I mean, look at Timothy the tea-serving Dalek. He's doing fine. No, we're good, thanks.
If you insist, Master.
That settles it then. YouTube, welcome to Groove Builders. I'm Disorderly Cone, and in this episode, we're going to be building the Doctor Who Cyberman head. Let's go ahead and take a look at the package.
Alright, Groove Builders, welcome to the workbench. We have our Metal Earth Doctor Who Cyberman head here in some great Doctor Who packaging. The Cyberman we're building today, I believe, is from the 10th Doctor's era of the show. Very cool. Let's look at the back. Ooh, very pretty. The first thing we have here is the QWERTY code that we can scan to get a 360 view of the Cyberman build. Just below, we have some simple graphics explaining the basics of metal model building. Then, we get a glimpse of the metal and some of the pieces that we'll be working with. Lastly, we have a little blurb about the Cyberman and who they are. This looks like it'll be a lot of fun, Groovers. Let's open up the packet. We have our instructions, and we have our 2 sheets of metal. Very nicely detailed, I might add. Let's take a closer look at our instructions and what we're going to be getting ourselves into. The first thing we see is the Metal Earth logo at the top. Then we have a big QWERTY code that we can scan to give a 360 view of the Cyberman head. A little on further down the page, we have some detailed instructions on what to do with the fold lines, insertion holes, and tabs. We will go in detail about this during the build. Then we have a blue circle. When we see these in the instructions, we need to fold the tabs 90 degrees. When we see triangles, we need to pull and twist these tabs. In the middle, we see engraved symbols. This indicates to us that we need to make sure the engraved metal, like this right here, is being placed on the outside. The next symbol we have is the non-engraved sign. This is the opposite of the last symbol we just talked about. Then we have an intention point. When we see this in our instructions, we need to be careful of this area. Lastly, we have our all-important parts diagram. Let's take a better look at this right now. These pictures list the part numbers and give us a map to work with while we're building our models. I always take this time to orientate the metal sheets to the parts diagram. This makes things really easy when we're looking for parts, and it takes about 5 seconds to do. With both sheets lined up, Groovers, let's get building! We begin by building the left cheek of the Cyberman. Start by bending part 1 at the fold line. Then slowly bend the metal along the border line from the front to back, making sure to match up the metal edges as you go. When you have finally worked the metal properly, the tabs should line up with the insertion holes. Secure the tabs at the back with a tight bend. Try to get as much of the tab as possible and secure it as best as you possibly can. With the first 2 tabs secured, we can go ahead and secure the other 2 tabs in the back. Let's fold these tabs 90 degrees. This will make our lives a lot easier down the road. Push them together and secure the tabs with a tight bend. Let's not forget this top tab too. Part 2 is formed the same way Part 1 was, so to save some time, I'm going to go ahead and work some groovy magic. And boom! Just like that, Part 1. Now we need parts 3, 4, 5, and 6. It looks like we are starting the face. I will recommend a glue stick to help you form Part 3. The glue stick is a really good shape that can help you start forming the face, but just be careful not to form any stress marks in the metal. After forming the face, we can start bending the tabs in the eyes inward. Make sure to grab the tabs right at the fold line to prevent improper bending. Do this for both eyes. Now we can attach parts 4 and 5, being very careful not to scratch the metal as we put them into place. The scratches will show up on the eyes in the end if we're not careful. All the tabs are secured with a nice tight twist. Now I'm going to bend the tabs all along the edges of part 3. The tabs should be bent around 90 degrees. Make sure to grab all the metal, including the tiniest bits on the very end. The head will look warped if you don't. And done. That looks pretty good. Let's bend the tabs on the mouth back 90 degrees and insert part 6. Just like the eyes, be careful not to scratch the metal. Attach with a pull and a twist. Our Cyberman face is basically complete. It's time to start to form the head and attach the first cheek. Let's start with part 3. Form the top part of the head with the pad of your thumb. The ridges here will help you, but be careful not to bend too much. Once we have the shape we want, we can start to line up the tabs and connect them. I will use my pliers to ensure the tight connection. Once both sides are connected, work the metal together, ensuring that there are no gaps and the borders meet. In preparation for connecting the cheeks of the Cyberman to the face, we need to bend all of the outer tabs down. Once that's done, we can grab the left cheek and attach it to the face, starting with the lower tabs. Secure the tabs with a tight twist. Now push the face into the cheek and secure the tabs along the back of the head. Make sure to line up the edges of the metal together so that there's no gaps. That wasn't too hard now, was it? We're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. Just remember to go slow and really work the edges to ensure no gaps are visible. Once both pieces are connected, make sure to give them a little pull. This will help in shaping the head. Time to work on the handles. We will need parts 7, 8, and 9. Grab part 7 and bend the metal tabs to the side opposite of the engravings. The upper tabs need to go along to match the metal's edge. I personally work the metal using a series of small bends. I find the finish to be a lot more accurate than just YOLOing it on your first bend. Do the same for part 8. Now we can connect parts 7 and 8 together by using corresponding tabs and insertion holes. Part 9 is attached by the 3 tabs at the end of the handle we just made. Secure the tabs with a nice tight twist. Now we need to form part 10. Make sure to use the picture in the instructions for a reference. I used my fingers to form this piece, making sure the engravings were on the outside. After attaching it to the lower part of the handles, I cleaned up the edges with a pair of tweezers. No gaps, groovers! Now we have to do the same thing for the other side. Let's try some of that groover magic that we used earlier. There we go, both ready for our next instruction. We will need a lot of parts for our next few instructions. Let's grab pieces 13, 14, and 15. With our pieces cut out, we can see how they're going to be connected. Let's start from the top and work our way to the bottom. For the sake of the build, I'm going to refer to these pieces as the ears. The ears have a lot of tabs around the edges that need to be bent. Make sure to line up the edges to each bend to ensure that there are no gaps. Finally, with all the ear tabs bent and shaped, we can begin stacking them together. We start with our first handle assembly and part 13. Once the tabs have been inserted, secure them with a nice tight twist. Now we can grab part 14 and connect it to the ears. This time we feed the tabs to the corresponding side holes. Secure with another tight twist. Grab part 15 and repeat this process, securing the tabs with a nice tight twist again. When everything has been attached, go over the entire assembly, making sure that there are no gaps and all the tabs are in place. This looks really great. Let's see if we can do the same thing on the other side using some groover magic. And there we go! Both of our ears are done and no gaps. Let's move on to our faux hawk. Part 16, or what I call the faux hawk, is formed by bending the one side down and slowly working the top engraved metal into place along the border. When formed correctly, the tabs should line up with the insertion holes. Secure the tabs with a nice bend. Use the metal border to form the back part of the head into a nice step shape. Secure the tabs and pre-bend them slightly for the next step. Let's grab our Cyberman and attach part 16 to the top with some nice tight twists, being careful not to scratch the metal on top. Double check for any gaps. Time to attach our ears we made earlier to the head. Start by grabbing the right ear and feeding the tabs into the right side of the face. Take your time and be careful not to scratch the metal. Secure the ears with a tight bend on the tabs. Then feed the 3 tabs on the handle into the faux hawk and secure them. Take part 17 and secure it to the left ear with a tight twist. With the assembly, feed the faux hawk tabs in first and secure them with a flat bend. After working the tabs, secure the lower ear like before. Our Cyberman is looking more like a Cyberman. With our head done, it's time to work on the neck. Grab parts 18 and 19. Because of the unique shaping of part 18, I really recommend using your thumbs to bend the metal in the way that we're going to need it. Take your time though shaping, and when you like what you have, grab part 19 and secure one side with a flush bend. Once it's secure, you can then secure the other side the same way. With this built, we can pull the edges a little bit to form the part, but don't worry if it's not exactly what we need just yet. Part 20 is a plate that sits on top of part 18. We can use the plate to form part 18 if it's still out of shape. Feed the tabs into the holes and secure with a tight twist. Our top shoulder parts 21 and 22 are formed again with our thumbs. Ensure the engraved side is up and secure them to the lower neck. We do this for both sides. Be careful to ensure that there are no gaps left behind when you're installing these pieces. Our lower shoulder parts 23 and 24 are formed by bending the metal 90 degrees. Once done, we bend the metal following the edges. If bent correctly, the back tab should line up with the insertion hole. Secure the tab and repeat this for the other side. Secure parts 23 and 24 to the shoulders that we've been building. All the tabs should be secured with a flush 90-degree bend. Press the edges together to ensure no gaps are left behind. The neck is a small band of metal, part 25. Bend the neck back 90 degrees and then form the metal into a circle-like shape. Secure the back tab with a flush bend. Then use part 26 to form the shape we need, following the engraved border. Secure the tabs with a tight twist. Our last part to cut out groovers, grab part 27 and attach the shoulders. Make sure to have the engraved side facing up. Secure the tabs with a 90-degree fold. Then secure our neck. Take the time to feed the tabs all around the neck. Be very careful not to scratch the metal as we secure the tabs. Finally, our head is being attached. Feed the 4 tabs around the head into part 20. You may need to bend the tabs slightly to get the tabs into the holes. Secure the tabs with a flush bend. This last part is pretty simple. All we need to do is bend all the tabs around the circle matching the sides. You can also roll it on the table if you wish to do it that way, but it is less accurate.
Alright Groove Builders, we did it. We built ourselves the Doctor Who Metal Earth Cyberman head. And this is the last in the Doctor Who line that we need to build together. I think that's pretty cool. Now I'm just going to make some last minute adjustments here to get this Cyberman hooked up to our system. Let's go back here and do that. And whew, these are risky circuits. But
connection to Groove Builders
there
network
we
established.
go. Awesome. CK9, we're going to have some help here pretty soon.
Most exceptional, Master.
Would you like some tea?
No, Timothy, we're okay, but thank you for asking. Your insistence
Auto run Scaro uplink protocol.
Wait, Scaro uplink protocol? We don't have a Scaro uplink protocol. K9, what's a Scaro uplink protocol?
Link established. Connection to Supreme Dalek achieved.
No.
Exterminate disorderly
K9,
code.
get to the TARDIS quick, go! Okay, K9, that was close.
Affirmative, Master. That was
Well, K9, I should have listened to you about trusting the Daleks and Cybermen. I just really thought because, you know, we built them, that it would be different. I guess there's no time for that now, though. We have a Groove Builders headquarters to save. Did you install those minimalization circuits like I asked?
Affirmative.
Good boy, K9! Okay, I can use my computer here to see where they are and then activate those chips. Let's see if we can locate them here. Burj Al Arab? No. A dragon? No. R2-D2 look like he's in the kitchen, making some good dinner. I'm excited for that. Here they are! They look like they're in front of the anything room. K9, if they get in there though, we're gonna have to call the doctor. Are the chips ready to go?
Minimalization circuits are operational.
Okay, K9. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Alright, K9, you go check up on R2-D2. I'm gonna go get our 2 friends over here. Not too bad. You never know what kind of damage is going to be around after a Dalek gets loose in your complex. But it looks pretty good. Oh, wow. Our 2 friends here did shrink quite a bit. You know, they're not going to cause us any more trouble at this size. I can definitely lock you guys away in the vault. But before I do, let's go ahead and talk about our Cyberman head friend here. Let's begin with construction difficulty. I found the Cyberman head to be a pretty straightforward build with a few challenges along the way. In particular, forming the face. If you're not careful when you're trying to form the face, you can develop some hot spots around the eyes. Just be careful when you're doing this and try to just work the metal as you go. It will take a few times. I mean, the first time you bend it, it's not necessarily going to get where you want it to be. Really take your time, try to get those really nice circular bends if you can before you actually crease it over. Even in mine right there, you'll see that there's definitely some hot spots that were forming along the head, and I tried to form them out and it worked out pretty well. But again, if you don't want to have those form, just really take your time and take the little bit of precision it takes to really work those edges. The second part of that also would be the handlebars at the top. While not extremely difficult, it is important to make sure that when you're bending the metal that you crease it in the proper places to get those handlebars nice and sharp. The last thing you want is to have a little kink sticking out the back and ruin the model's finish. The last thing I want to touch on are the eyes of the Cyberman. When you're forming the eyes, you're going to be folding some tabs inward, and then you're going to be attaching a piece to the back. Now, if you're not careful, you can accidentally scratch the inside of the eyes, and this will definitely impact how your model looks at the end. Just make sure that when you're adding this part to the back, that you take your time and go slow. If you do accidentally scratch it, you can always switch it out with the other piece for the other eye, just flip it around. But you are limited to how many times you can do that. Let's move on to build time. The Cyberman head took me about 2 hours and 16 minutes to complete, and that was of course with fumbling with my camera and having to download files in between that. I expect for experienced builders to be able to complete this in a lot shorter time, but keep in mind, Groovers, it's not a race, and we really want to take our time when we're forming our metals to make sure we get that nice museum quality that we want. And finally, let's talk about my thoughts. The Metal Earth Doctor Who Cyberman head was a lot of fun to build, and I really did enjoy the little challenges this model offered. I can't help but wish that the Metal Earth guys, though, did develop a full-size, almost Iron Man, C-3PO, or War Machine size Cyberman for us to build. That being said, the head is definitely well detailed and again, a ton of fun to build, so there's no regrets there, but hopefully down the road maybe they'll develop something kind of like that for a future Doctor Who series. Alright Groove Builders, that brings us to the end. I had a great time building the Doctor Who Metal Earth Cyberman head with you, and if you guys had a good time, don't forget to press that like button. For more videos like this, hit subscribe as well, as we got all kinds of really cool stuff coming up in the future. Until next time, Groove Builders, keep building. Alright K9, time for some dinner.